We are the Voices of the Wind, and this is episode 2. We actually today remembered that we were going to get some apple brandy.
It's apple whiskey.
It is not apple brandy.
Attempts were made.
We tried. We really tried. But it's apple whiskey, so you get the feel. So
it's appley, and it's going to hurt when we take a shot of it. So that's what matters.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. Speaking of, we've
poured our shots.
Got shots here. Mine is in a little boot.
I've got Yoda. This is not my shot glass, but I support it.
I have so many shot glasses. It's not even funny.
All right. Cheers to episode 2.
Cheers to episode 2.
That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It was.
I don't hate it.
Borderline okay.
Yeah. It was close to okay.
If it threw something, it could be at okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we are starting with chapter 5. So this is when Rand and Tam are heading back to the house. So first things first, they're heading back, and immediately they get to the house, and as we talked before, Tam is starting to circle the fields. They've got weapons out. They're kind of a little bit more ominous at this point.
Right. Like Tam is drinking the water, just a little touch to make sure it's not poison.
Right.
He's going all out. He's ready for this.
Yes.
They're doing their chores and they've got their bow out. He's got his spear out. They're like, yes, if someone attacks right now, we're probably
we are ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
Yep.
Which, in a situation like this, there's a mysterious stranger wandering about, you gotta be safe.
And the fact that they're taking it seriously, they're not playing games about it. It's not just, frights of the mind. It's all right, we're ready if this guy shows up, because they think he's real,
not just humoring this fanciful situation. It's no, bad things have happened.
Yes, exactly.
We're gonna be ready.
Right.
And then they go inside and they're getting ready for dinner and all that, and Tam locks the doors, and they've never done that.
Right. And you're immediately okay, they're really taking it seriously now.
Right, all right, things are crazy. And I get that, because I even just today, Lauren came over and I was like, yeah, just go right in, the door's open.
Yeah.
I didn't lock it. It's fine.
Right.
So I get that.
Yeah, so if you were to ever end up that house was completely locked up, there'd be a reason. There'd be a really good reason. It wouldn't just be I locked it tonight. There's a very strict reason.
Right. It'd be something was wrong. There was someone loitering outside.
Right.
Someone told me they were going to do something. The guy down the street got robbed or something.
Right.
And I would react.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from them. And
absolutely.
Then everything goes crazy because all of a sudden there's a sword.
Yeah.
Cool looking
pulls
sword.
Out the chest, unlocks it with this big long key, and pulls out this sword. And Rand is immediately where did you buy that?
What is happening here?
Right.
Which I really enjoy. Just immediately, where'd you buy that from?
Right. And it's this locked chest that's been underneath the bed for how long? I remember he says in the book, he knows it had to be the chest that came from a certain spot, because he heard the noise and nothing else could have ever made that noise. So how long he's had that chest up there?
Has to have
holding
been
a sword.
Whole life.
Right. Right. And this magnificent sword.
He's asking his the normal kid questions. If I was a teenager, these would be the things I was asking my dad. If my dad just walked in one day and went over to the safe and pulled out a gun and put it down, and I was like, what?
Where did that come from?
Wait, since when do we have that? Actually happened in my life. It was from Germany, and my grandpa got it in World War II.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't know it existed until one day my dad was trying to find my birth certificate.
Keep it with the guns. Okay?
Obviously,
definitely.
Yeah,
safest place. You want my birth certificate? Absolutely not.
That's how that works. But it was very concerning, and I was confused. So I feel that.
Yeah. Well, my dad's throwing knives were kept in a record case, with actual records. There were vinyls.
Scratch the records?
Well, it was in a crate with vinyls, and then the other side was knives.
Your dad has a milk crate full of records?
Yeah.
Can I have
there
them?
were 9 actually. It was really ridiculous.
I want them.
And I'm why are you looking through records to find the throwing knives? And he's because they're right here. I was of course they are.
That is how I organize things. So I feel that in my soul.
Yeah.
That's Lauren will come over to my house and be like, yeah, let me just look through this random drawer of stuff over here, and I'll just pull out this thing we were looking for.
It's very accurate. Yeah. Yeah. So then we move into, they're kind of settling in for the night, and they get the knock on the door.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And then shit goes wrong.
It just goes off from there.
Like the door comes down, the Trollocs come in. Not a fan.
No.
Not a fan at all. Trollocs, bad. Decisive decision.
Immediate.
Like, I don't like you. You've got horns, and also you're breaking into people's houses.
Right.
I would accept one. I would not have accepted the other.
No.
When you put them together, I definitely am not accepting.
No.
This is not good. I don't like the way this is going.
Yep.
Also, gross.
Yeah.
Okay, they're super gross. Like, I'm reading these descriptions, and I'm like
almost like a Frankenstein kind of thing. Like all these different body parts and like this big giant creature, and it's like a failed science experiment.
And like they're describing them like, some have shoes, some have hooves.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are not all the same creature.
Right.
What are you talking about?
It's like mixed match day.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No.
No, but they're super scary, and they're like that, like not like a traditional troll sort of deal, but kind of like if you took a troll and you mixed it with an orc. Yeah. And not like the good orcs that talk and have cool handprints on them. Like the icky
like
orcs.
The scary ones. Yeah, I can see that 100%. Yeah. That makes sense.
Also, they seem very effective for what their job is, which I'm pretty sure is just kill as much as possible.
Like the perfect pawns. They just like set them out like, and they just do destruction. Yeah. And it just seems like they are really effective at that. I agree.
They seem really like this is a good strategy. You've made good choices. Yeah. I don't like it. Point. I'm on the other side of this situation.
I disagree with your choices.
But like if I was on your side, I'd be like, yes.
Send the Trollocs.
The best possible solution we could have had to this problem. Yeah. Raise it to the ground.
You want to take a farmhouse down? Send them in. Absolutely.
I want to just destroy a village. Is that cool?
Right.
Cool. I'm going to borrow like 17 Trollocs. That's probably all I need. Let's go.
Accurate. That's a good point.
But then like Tam stands up and he's got his sword and he's like, he knows how to use it. Like he's killed 2 of the Trollocs and he's like, Rand, run.
Yeah, like get out of here.
And obviously he's in shock. So he's like, I don't even know what to do. And then he gets
these are like children's tales that you hear. Like if the boogeyman actually showed up at our house, we're like, what? I'm sorry, you exist? And all of a sudden this Trolloc is showing up at the door. Like they've heard legends, I'm sure, but like it's real. It's in your face.
It's like, no one expects to actually go out on the full moon and, it's a werewolf.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a thing that happens.
Right. Like, that's real?
Oh, no, It's not. You're wrong.
Right. So yeah, it is just pure shock at that point. Like fear of movement at that point because you're like, is this really happening? But like, yeah. So then he's telling him to run because at that point he's got a little bit of control over the situation, not like much, but clearly he's like enough that he can take off.
Right. We can get you far from the danger, which parent job 101.
Dad things, yeah.
Yeah. So like that's solid. I like that. Yeah. I really enjoy the irony of Rand running to the back door and it being locked. Yeah. And he has to like climb out the window and he's like, oh my God, we've never locked the door in my entire life. And then the one time I need to escape. Right. It's locked. I mean, I get why you did it, but irony of ironies right there. That was good. And then most of the part where he's running in the dark was boring, so I didn't read it. Look, I got highlights.
I get that.
I like the part where like Tam's like going to the back of the house and Rand's like, I'm over here. And Tam like continues to not look at Rand or talk to him at all. Right. Like, no, you're fucking not. You shut up.
You're over the complete opposite way. Don't say things like that. God. Yeah, absolutely.
So that was good. And then I skimmed some more, and then all of a sudden Tam had his hand over Rand's mouth and Rand tried to kill him, which appropriate reaction.
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
So anything that happened in between there sounds like it was pretty much just running around in the dark, and that's kind of boring. So I don't need that.
It's like those scenes in horror movies, like when they're running around like a haunted house or something like that. Like, I know you're going to alert me when a haunted thing pops up. But like a noise right now you're just running down a hallway. So like, I know you're running down a hallway. It's all right.
It's fine. I've seen that happen before. Yeah. I know what it's like to run around in the dark. I've been a child.
Fair. I've been a child.
Yeah, did you not play that game where everyone would dress in all black and you would
What is that called? Wait.
Yeah, and you would run around in the dark and you had to, like, it was
Yes,
like hide and seek.
Yes.
We used to play that all the time.
I used to play that too with my cousins in Newport.
Yeah. We would play it just through all of Island Park.
Yeah, we did all of like where the hospital is in Newport.
Oh, bomb.
Yeah, that was a great area to do it. Yeah.
I'm down for that. Oh, I don't remember what it was called.
I can't either.
Chad would know.
He would.
Anyway. Yeah, so I know what that's like, so I don't need to read a description of what it's like to run around in the dark. Like, it's hard.
It's hard. It's a challenge.
It's not great.
No.
So yeah, so like there's that. And then he finally finds him again.
Yeah.
And then he's hurt.
Right.
But he doesn't realize he's hurt.
Right.
Which I think is very, like, obviously, like, you're in this, like, shock situation. Yeah. You don't know what's happening.
Your adrenaline is pumping. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're just happy, like, he's alive.
Right.
Did not expect 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I first read the book, I really thought the dad was going to die immediately.
Right. Yeah. And, like, so many stories start off that way.
Like, constantly.
All the time. So, like, I just assumed he'd be dead and we would never hear from him again, and that would be upsetting, and it would spur Rand to become a better person.
This, like, man of the house kind of situation. Right,
to pick up the sword and, like, lead in, I don't know, other shit.
In honor of my father.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And then he didn't, and that was cool.
Yeah, because you're like, all right, cool, I like Tam. I don't really want him to die.
Right, like, he's a really cool character. I'm down for Tam.
Right.
But then he's hurt, and Rand is like, "Oh my god, like, you've got a super fever.
You're like,
this
you're
is
not
bad.
You're not tip top here. It's not really. We're not really safe at this point because he's still really hurt. So.
Exactly. So, like,
yeah,
Tam gives him the rundown. He's like, Trollocs can hear really well, and they can follow your scent, and all of this other really scary stuff.
Yeah, all those animal parts.
And then Rand still is like, "Yeah, but, like, you're really hurt. We've got to get you to the wisdom.
Yep.
I'm gonna take your sword."
Yep.
And I'm going to go back and get us the supplies we need.
Get the little cart. What does he call it? A litter. The litter to drag him down. Yeah. Basically.
Way to make the litter.
Yeah, right.
And that is what it's called.
Yeah, I almost said kitten, but, litter kitten, that's where it was. Anyway,
we put Tam on the kitten.
and rode it into the village.
Just a giant cat.
I can't.
Oh my god, can you draw that?
Probably.
I need a picture
of Tam on a kitten.
On a giant kitten running through the forest.
No,
I want it Bob Ross style, please.
Bob Ross? Okay, wait, the pressure's real. I'm going to do sketch style first, and then we'll maybe get to Bob Ross.
Ugh.
Stay tuned. Maybe I should live stream while I'm doing it.
You should. You should live stream this wonderful masterpiece.
On the kitten.
You're welcome.
So then he heads back to go get all the supplies, and he meets Narg.
Yeah, Narg.
Narg smart.
Narg know people come back.
Narg wait.
Put sword down. Narg know. Put down sword.
I love
it's
it.
Fine.
Rob, we have your chef assistant here. We're talking about Narg. I love it. So Narg was kind of an interesting scene. That was like kind of shocking because like you're all of a sudden introduced to Trollocs, and then there's Narg, who's not like the regular Trollocs, and you're like, oh,
that's true. Like, I've just been told all of these things about trolls, and then immediately they're like, none of those things. This guy.
He's Narg smart.
And I'm like, okay, sure. Narg. That's fine. And then Narg dead.
We've got the superhero Trolloc here, who's like, I use brain. Kitten brain.
Kitten brain.
Oh man. So that was kind of wild. That was a really cool one. I mean, it was really bold to introduce Trollocs and then immediately introduce Trolloc who can like speak to humans. Yeah. That was like a bold choice, but it was interesting.
It was a real fast turnaround there.
Yeah.
Like normally you'd be like, these are normal Trollocs. And
right.
Then, like, a book or two would go by and then you'd meet a weird Trolloc. And you'd be like, oh.
Really fresh out the gate.
The eyes. Yeah. I mean, it was funny. I enjoyed it.
It was.
And then Rand got to kill him.
Yeah.
Which was
badass.
Yeah.
So badass. Like you're now and I feel like that's also one of the most important parts as well for Rand as a character is that he is pushing through, and at this point now it's because his dad's hurt. And it gave him all of that energy he needed to be able to kill a Trolloc. Yeah, because he ran from them before, and all of a sudden, now he's in dire need to protect him. Yeah. And he
has to do this. Yeah. Like, there's no, if I can do it, or maybe I should do it. I physically have to do this, or the world is going to come to an end.
Yeah, because it's his dad. And that is his world. That's all he's got. So it's like, push comes to shove, he is, like, strong enough and capable enough, and he, like, kicks ass. Yeah. And it was amazing.
And it's really cool how they set that up, like, at the beginning of the chapter when they're talking about the house and how it's smaller than normal houses in the area because it's just the two of them.
Yep.
Like, they set up that idea so that later on when he's going back and he's doing it, and he's, like, going through and, like, crawling through the dead sheep and touching their blood and, like, all of that, you're like, I know why he has to do this. Like, he doesn't have a backup plan for family.
He's just got Tam.
Right? It's not like you live with your 20 cousins, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your 3 brothers, and you're like, all right, like, I'm still going to try and save my family member, but, like, there's all of these other people
and you have to worry about right.
And it's like, no, it's just the two
It's just the two of them taking care of that big-ass farm, and that's all they've got, the two of them. So, yeah, it really was. It was an amazing, like, leap of a character trait. Like, he really leapt into action there. It was like his back was up against the wall. And while anybody's back would be up against the wall in that circumstance, but that's how he reacted, you know? And it was beautiful. It was great.
It was very brave and very smart, and it definitely makes it worthy of being the main character's solution to a situation.
Right.
And then, and he makes the litter. Like, that's really like, he thought about that very quickly, but he came up with a good plan, and like he had to carry all the pieces back out to the woods to,
and he executes the whole thing, like, so quickly and, like, efficiently after killing something. You know,
first time he's ever done that. So now he's been attacked in this one night. His dad is injured. He killed even if he's a Trolloc, like,
but he killed a creature that big too on top of it.
And now he has to come up with a whole secondary plan because his original plan, ill-conceived.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and get the horse that's probably still in the barn.
I can't.
Why did you think that was going to... Anyway.
Sure. We'll pretend.
That's how this works. So, like, he has to come up with a secondary plan. He's doing all of this under a high-stress situation. I remember being, like, 17. I don't know if I could have done that.
No.
I mean, I'd like to think I could have done it, but...
Yeah, if my backup was, like, up against the wall, maybe. I doubt it. I doubt it for myself, personally, at 17. I was an asshole. I just don't think that I would have cared.
I'm sorry. I wasn't an asshole. I was just lazy.
I was that, too.
Sure. I'm glad you have multiple things going for you.
Yeah, I had lots of traits. They were all bad. But I had lots of different traits, okay? I am multifaceted. Okay?
I believe that you are probably also funny.
Yeah, I think I was funny too. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good one.
One trait.
You're right. Probably sarcasm, but, you know, whatever. We'll call that a good trait.
Sarcasm is my favorite.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a good one, but I mean, it's a trait.
It's definitely a trait.
It
You're not wrong.
No.
Anyway, so chapter 5 was intense.
Yeah. That was a big one.
Yeah. So that was fun. I like that there was a lot of subtlety in this chapter. So, like, even like when Tam talks about the sword and Rand is like, how much did it cost?
Right.
Tam never answers the question. He just says, I paid too much for it.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
And your mom didn't think it was worth it. And she said I should just give this up.
Right.
And it's like he's being very vague. And I think
I do love that about Tam, too. He is very vague. He's that, like, mysterious, like, super smart and, like, you know, sturdy kind of guy, but he's so mysterious. Like, there's so much mystery there.
Like, there's no straightforward answers.
Like, there's so many merchants that comes in and out of I mean, they don't come frequently, but, like, there's a merchant constantly coming in and out of the Two Rivers. Like, he could have just been like, oh, you know.
Just, by the way,
the peddler.
Really cool sword.
Right. Or I took a trip, got it from a merchant there. Like, instead, he's like, I paid too much. And you're like,
And you're like, okay.
That's not what I need to know more. Like, that's not an answer.
So that was...
It is subtle, though.
That was very subtle. And, like, because you don't really catch it necessarily unless you're, like, really looking for it. Because it's like, that could just mean, oh, yeah, I mean, like, I paid too much for a lot of things I have. I bought a pair of shoes for, like, $100 once.
But, like, he asked him, like, multiple questions about the sword, and that was the only thing he really said, so...
Just over and over, too. Like, every question, the answer was just, I paid too much for it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done it. I don't know if it was worth it. And you're like, all right, but, like, that didn't answer the question at all. No. So, there was that.
Yeah, it's a very strong parent move of, like, none of your business.
Right.
That's what that is.
I'm not getting into this with
I'm going to answer your question with more questions for you. You're going to leave here more confused.
I leave lots of places more confused.
Sounds right.
All right, so that was chapter 5. We're going to move on to chapter 6, which is still exciting.
It is, yeah. We'll move on. Your mouse does not like me today.
Yeah, I don't know what you did to it. I think it's mad at you for breaking it that one time.
You know what? I was trying to replace the batteries. Damn it. I did nothing to you. So now we are on chapter 6 when Rand is bringing Tam back to the village. And that's when Tam starts talking about some things that Rand didn't know.
Yeah, fever dream style.
Yeah, fever dreams. Yeah, those are rough. But yeah, so then he starts talking about war and fighting, etc. So...
Yeah, he keeps going on and on about, you know, the war and the blood spilled in Lamon's name and the savages coming over, and, you know, they said we could stop them easily, and that was a lie.
Right.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
A horrible time for Rand to find out that his dad was a soldier.
Yeah, bad timing.
A little busy.
Yeah. There's like a lot going on. We don't really need an emotional turmoil.
Right. Like, can we just have this one piece of turmoil and, like, we'll get through that. And then, like, next week over dinner, you could just ruin dinner. Like, family.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't need it now.
You gotta space this out. We've got years. Don't you worry.
Literally. So then they're heading back, and that's when he sees and hears the rider with the Trollocs. So the Midnight Rider, you know, coming back.
Yeah, Midnight Rider is creepy.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. And now at this point, you kind of recognize that, like, it's leading the Trollocs.
Yeah, like this
he's like in command.
Way worse than originally thought. Yeah. Like, this guy wasn't just out scouting and happened to, like, be around. It's like, this is like the general of this situation leading his horrible berserkers into
awful army. Yeah.
So he is scary. Continuously. And, like, Rand is going on about how he can feel the hatred coming off of him.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. From the beginning, the second he saw him the first time, he said that he could feel hatred, and that's why he turned around.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that, like, he's getting close, he feels it again, like, that's a constant conversation.
Like the guys that followed Frodo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's an astute observation.
Thanks, you.
So then Tam keeps going.
Yeah, and then it starts getting a lot worse.
And then it's way more personal.
He's talking about, you know, I was fighting in this war and it was horrible and the smell of death was everywhere and I had to get away from the smell of death.
Ugh.
And then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I found this baby.
And then I found this baby and I knew that she always wanted a baby and she would love this baby. And then they lead into, you know, they decided Rand was a good name and it's like, oh,
bad things.
Oh, hold on.
Bad things have just been brought up.
Yeah.
So, like, that...
Again, you're fearing for your life here. You're desperately trying to get your sick father to the wisdom to save his life, hopefully. And now you are not sure that's your dad.
Yeah. Also, came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There was no lead up to that situation.
None.
She's like, you know, I thought
fever dreams, that's it.
We were doing a lot of, like, crazy stuff, and I was down with that, Trolloc attacks and all that sort of thing, and all of a sudden I was like, by the way, in this telenovela that we're following here,
telenovela.
I mean, but for real though.
Yeah, I mean it is the beginning of a lot of drama.
Stolen baby of your enemy.
I can't.
I'm just saying, like, it's pretty much kidnapping. Except for, I mean, the baby was gonna die, but like,
yeah, it's like adoption, but
that's not how adoption works.
Well, back in the day, I'm pretty sure that's not that far.
Well, I'm pretty sure they still had orphanages that you went to and then adopted a child.
If you were lucky to get to an orphanage, I think you're right. But I don't think every kid was that lucky.
I'm not arguing that. Like, the baby apparently was going to die. Like, it was having, like...
Yeah.
It was blue. But
right.
I'm pretty sure they still count that as kidnapping.
Yeah.
I mean, good kidnapping. I'm happy he didn't...
I feel like we're dancing a line there.
Die.
We're very close to a line. Just kind of trotting along it.
Well, I don't like to line dance. That's not my vibe.
Well,
so we'll move forward.
So, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, poor Rand is just being hit over and over with just these crazy things. Like, first is his dad talking about this crazy tree of life that gets cut down and starts a giant war. And then all of a sudden it's like, by the way, you're not my kid.
Yeah, right. Like, that's a lot to take in all at once.
And all in the meantime,
while you're running for your life.
Yeah, he's running from Trollocs. He saw the cloaked rider again. He's tired.
Exhausted, yeah.
He is dragging a full-grown human being, and not a little human being.
No.
Like, this is a very well-built farmer man human being. He's dragging him in the dark through the woods because he can't be on the street.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot.
It is a lot, yeah.
And I think he handled it very well. And I like
He did.
Like, he
just kind of, like, puts it out of his head. And he's like, these are just fever dreams. Like, you know.
Right.
He just kind of puts it away at the moment, which is really smart at that time because he's got way too much to worry about than to stress about that.
It's definitely really smart. I think a little bit is also just shock. I don't think his brain could have comprehended some of it.
See, I think that if that had been me, oh my God, I probably would have dropped to the ground and been like, excuse.
He did, in the book, I distinctly remember, drop to his knees.
And then you're right, he did drop to his knees. But I probably would have stayed there. Like, I don't think I would have handled it so well, especially at his age. Like, I think he really did, like, step up to the plate, and he's like, we're just not going to worry about that right now. And that's really the way it's supposed to be, but...
It is, it is good. And he did, amazing. In the end, he did handle it very well. He made sure that he finished doing what he needed to do.
Right, yeah.
So that was very cool. And then, he starts walking up to the town.
Yep.
And that's not going as well as one would
hope. No, it is not. And just the hits keep coming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the end of chapter 6. Move on to 7.
Yeah.
All right. So then chapter 7, they are heading back into the town and they start to, well, Rand, not they, but Rand starts to see the damage.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I understand why it didn't even occur to him, but definitely expected.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think an entire horde of Trollocs just came to his farm.
Yeah, like, why would they just come to your farm? Like, you're around that many different people, and I understand it's a distance away, but, like, you didn't really offer that much for them.
Right.
Like, they seem to be hungry. So,
They've got stuff to do. They've got pillaging and killing and setting things on fire, apparently.
It's not all about you.
So then he gets into town. Yep. The blacksmith helps carry him over to the wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Nin is just real horrible.
Yeah.
She tells him, no, nothing I can do, suck it. Which, I mean, is fair. If a doctor the wisdom in this case is going to be like, up front, that's nice. Yeah. It's good to know what's happening.
Right.
But I feel like she could have done it with, like, a little bit of...
bedside manner?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. At the end of it, she does kind of seem sorry. She's just like, initially, it's just like, she's probably so stressed out that she's like, yeah, out of my face, because I can't help you. Like,
that's
he's
true.
out.
I think everyone's in shock.
Right. So, like, I almost understand, but at the same time, it's so crushing, because it's like, she loved Tam, too. Like, you're all a part of this village together, like, and you're just gonna be like, no, get out.
Right.
But
like, it had to have crushed her to look at him and think, oh my God, there's nothing I can do. And I get that. I do. Yeah. I'd
be pissed at that too if I couldn't help.
If you were talking to someone's kid.
Yeah.
To say, hey, I can't
tone it down.
Save your parent. Yeah, you try and say it without just being a bitch.
Right. So then Rand decides to head to Bran to see if there's something he can do to convince Nynaeve to help him.
Yeah, because he's like, the mayor.
He's like, no, I'm not letting that go.
Yeah, this is not okay.
No, you know what I just went through to get here? Like, absolutely not. So then he meets up with Tom.
Yeah, he runs into Tom as he's going in. And Tom, very helpful.
Yeah,
super carry him in, get him in there. Yep. The mayor's like, go get the wisdom. And he just kind of runs away very quickly. Not super great because Rand didn't get to tell him that the wisdom was like,
not going to help you. Right.
But I mean, it's nice that he did that.
Yeah.
I approve of that situation. Right. And then they get him upstairs and they get him comfortable, and Tom comes back in and ruins all of the niceness that I enjoyed about the first part where he ran away by just being a brat.
Yeah.
How come you didn't tell me?
Right. It's like, boy, you ran so fast I couldn't tell you.
Also, I was busy.
Yeah.
Being in shock.
Ooh, excuse me.
About my dying father.
Right.
So if you could tone it down.
Yeah, take it down a notch, my friend.
I will say he did redeem himself a little bit when he kind of tricks the mayor into remembering that, oh, wait a minute. Moraine is an Aes Sedai.
Right.
Aes Sedai.
Aes Sedai, yeah.
Whatever.
We all say it differently.
I say it whatever I want. I won't.
I'll
say it
we'll find
next
out.
Time.
Right.
We all know that.
Yeah, so then with all the legends and all this, now we've got an Aes Sedai.
And a warder.
Yeah, and a warder, right. So then, he mentions to, call her in and see if she can help.
Yeah, like there might be a price.
Right.
These are, not the most trustworthy people.
Right.
But she could probably
there's a chance
handle the situation.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like that. And I like that the mayor too kind of looks at Tom and is like, why didn't you just say this? You're a Glee man. You should know these things.
Right.
And he's like, listen, you don't know me.
Yeah.
This had to come from you for this to be a good idea.
Right.
If I said do it and then the Aes Sedai, sure, was like, no, or like messed it up, or was like, yeah, but I'm going to take like your eternal soul, like then it would be on him.
Right.
And now it's on the mayor.
It's not my choice, yeah.
He feels better about that situation.
Right.
Which is both good and ridiculous.
A little bit ridiculous, yeah, but I get it.
What can you do?
Right. At that point, they're all like, "Who Aes Sedai?" Like this little like creature of the night. Like, relax. But yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and understand that he doesn't want it to come from him. Fine. He's been out in the world. We can't really argue that. If you don't want it to come from you, fine.
That's fine. Sometimes I don't tell people about good ideas just to see if they'll come up with them on their own.
Right, exactly.
A lot of times they don't. Then I get annoyed that they didn't do the thing I didn't tell them how to do.
Like, how dare you not know when I didn't tell you?
Right? Just know the things that are happening in my head. Why is that so hard?
Read my mind. Okay?
All the time. Like, Chad will come home and he would have bought a piece of cake. And I'll be like, yeah, but you went to the store, right? And that's where they keep the cake. So I don't understand why we don't have
How did you not bring cake home?
And he's sitting there like, you told me to get Alfredo.
Well, Alfredo means I always want more as well. So how do you not have cake as well?
I don't think you understand. Don't you know that when you eat Italian food, you get dessert?
Did you not make this connection in your brain?
Like
how?
What? Anyway, apparently I want cake all the time, and I need to just calm that down. I saw this bourbon ice cream the other day.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It was so
See, like, I'll take ice cream over cake. Bourbon ice cream especially.
It had like brown sugar, like swirls running through it, and little crumbly vanilla cookie pieces.
Oh my god!
Oh, so good.
Where
we
did
did it with baklava.
What the hell?
Yeah, that time Chet
and she didn't invite me over.
Chet didn't know how to read my mind that day. He just came home with baklava. I was like,
kudos.
That's what I wanted.
All right, so then how did we get to ice cream and cake? Anyway, no, I'm not even gonna ask. So then Moraine is like asking Rand about dreams.
Yeah, Rand is like, all right, he's gonna go find her.
Weird.
And she's like, how are your dreams? It's like the town burned down last night. How are my dreams? What?
Like, you're lucky I sleep.
I I haven't in like 24 hours.
Right.
Could we focus here?
Let me let you know in the morning.
But she does seem very happy. Like, she's like, a little bit more light in the world when he shows up, which I think is a nice way to greet a person after a tragedy.
Seriously. That is a very nice way to greet people.
Yeah. So he asks her about the healing. She's like, yes, cool.
Yep.
Let's do
she's
that.
She's like, I'll see what I can do, you know? Like, but she's not like immediately like, no. She's like, all right, let's get this going.
Yeah.
You know?
Not trying to give false hope, but like, I'll try.
Yeah.
And then Lan's kind of a brat. Again, lots of brattiness going on this chapter. Because Rand's like, let's hurry, my dad is dying. And Lana's like, don't be mean to her. She's tired. It's like, all right.
And he's like, okay, my dad's dying still as quickly as before, though.
Right, like, like he hasn't started dying slower because she's tired too.
Right.
And like, even,
I mean, we love Lan, but like, come on, man.
Even Moraine at that point is like, I mean, like, be nice to the kid. Yeah.
She's like, we really do understand your situation. Lan, shut the hell up.
Right. One of the things, it was at the very end of the chapter, and it was the description that Rand gives of Moraine after she tells Lan to stop being a brat.
Yep.
Was that he couldn't tell if the fierceness in her eyes was her or if the softness of her tone was her. Or if maybe it was both. And I think that was a really cool description.
That is a really cool description. Yeah.
Like, that was really cool. And he's like, maybe it is both. Like, maybe she's that person.
Right.
And I think a lot of people who are quiet, you kind of relegate them to this, like, pushover sort of position.
Right.
Or people who are calm naturally in a situation. You're like, I don't know if they could hold their own in certain things.
Right.
And it's like, she's got the fierceness in her eyes that he's like, oh, she could kill me with a thought.
Yeah.
She's just
like, she's an absolute badass.
Right. She's just choosing not to.
Right. But also gentle.
Yeah. Which I think is kind of cool because, like, up until now, we haven't heard a lot about the Aes Sedai. Did I say it right that time?
Close, Aes Sedai, but I think a lot of people say it differently.
Yeah. Aes Sedai, Aes Sedai, Aes Dodo.
Aes Dodo, there it is.
Yeah. So all the stories about the Aes Dodos pretty much tell them like they're tricksters or like they're like evil genies or jinn or like these like bad people.
Right.
Like they do good things.
Yeah.
But also they're horrible. Which is weird.
Somehow that works together.
Yeah.
In all these stories.
It seems really strange. And then it's even more countered off by the fact that she's just immediately like, yes, I'll come and try and help your father.
Right.
She defended the town.
Right.
She's like helping all these other people. So I don't, it's like that parallel between what people are saying and these stories people have. Right. Versus the actual evidence in front of you of what's actually happening. Right. And that's, I don't know enough at this point about situation to know what's real and what isn't and what's exaggerated and what's
that's fair happening. You're set up so much in the beginning to like feel a certain way, and when it kind of it flips a little on you with the Aes Sedai because you're like, okay, but she's helping everybody now, you know. He's like, she's so tired from doing this and that, and you're like, well, where's this evil Aes Sedai that everyone's talking about? Because this is not, like, what's in front of me.
Yeah, like...
But everyone's still so uneasy around her. Like, but still, you know, you're still an Aes Sedai. Like, it almost doesn't matter how much you've helped, you know. Like, even at the end, you know, Rand is expecting... He's not getting this healing for free, and he's like, what am I going to have to pay for my father to be healed this way?
Like, I know I'm going to have to pay something.
Right.
And it's like...
I'm like, well, did she ask you for something? Like... But, I mean, I also understand it because it's like nothing really does come free in the world. So, like, you kind of almost understand that kind of, like, mindset.
I do kind of get it. The parallels, they're just not there. So it's like all of this bad, all of these horrible stories. Right. They're, you know, trickster people. They're this, they're that. You can't trust them. They're evil. And then all of a sudden, all she's doing is helping.
Right. It's like, okay, if she's really that bad, when is the other shoe going to drop?
Yeah. Like, what is this giant disguise that's happening here? Or is there some alternative reason why it's happening? Like, what else is going on?
Right.
And then there's obviously just the fact that her and Lan seem genuinely concerned about the Trollocs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
they're like flabbergasted.
Yeah, that they attacked, that there were so many of them. Mm-hmm. He was taking the little badges from the armor and like counting how many tribes were there.
Right.
Like, so obviously this is just worrying in and of itself.
Right.
And so that's
like, this is a super concerning event.
Yeah. It's like, this is not okay. This is not normal.
And they're outsiders. It's not like people from Emmons Field who are terrified and this is like an outrageous event for them, but these are people that are not from Emmons Field. And they still think it's an outrageous event. Like,
he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He's a soldier. He should.
And she's this giant trickster,
she's like this magical trickster goddess.
And they're worried.
Oh, okay. So we're worried.
Yeah. We're all concerned now. Sure. Definitely.
Very high ominosity factor.
Ominosity.
Yeah.
You really brought that into the next episode. Good for you.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm gonna keep saying
Proud
that.
of you.
In life.
In life, in death, all of it.
Yeah, it's super fetch. Shut up.
Fetch! All right, so that is...
That's chapter 7.
That is the end of chapter 7. We'll move on to chapter 8.
All right.
All right, so now we are into chapter 8. So this is the first time you get to see Moiraine is healing his dad. So it's the use of the power.
Yeah, so she's got superpowers, which is cool. Love that. I think it's a good way to kind of show her powers and that they're stronger than normal situations.
Right.
Especially when you think about the fact that, like, Nin said he can't be saved.
Yeah, right.
And then Moiraine comes in and she's like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, she tells everyone to be quiet and not bother herself. Yeah. But
she comes in so cool and confident, like, all right.
Right. Like,
get to healing.
She's not sitting there like, this might not work.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it a try anyway.
Right.
Okay, just shut up.
Right.
And then she's got the little super focus.
Yeah, the Angreal.
Sure, that's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
The Angry Angel.
Angry Angel.
And that's really cool. And then seeing how weak she is, how much of herself she gave up trying to save the town, again, just speaks to the fact that I don't fully understand the Aes Sedai.
Fear.
Yeah.
The fear-mongering about it.
Yeah, the fear, the anger. And I'm like, maybe it's just when people have power, people who don't fear them.
Right, and that does kind of make sense because it's like, okay, she's sitting down and healing a man that, like, anybody else would have turned away. Like, that's a lot of power. And we're only talking about healing. And we're not talking about the other things
we're seeing one side of that coin, and the other side is a much scarier side of the coin.
Right,
so I kind of maybe a little bit get that, but it's still just kind of, like, she gave so much of herself to go out to defend the town, to help people afterwards. So...
Sure.
I mean, yeah. Plus, she just seems really badass. So, like, I really enjoy that.
She does.
And then we move on to Lan talking to Rand.
Right. He reveals that the sword is a Blade Master sword. The Heron Mark sword specifically is a Blade Master sword. Yeah. And how hard it is to buy something like that.
He starts off real sketch about it.
Yeah. He's like, how did you get this?
Is there also a heron on the blade of that?
Yeah. Right. Like, dead shocked. Like, how dare you be holding such a thing, you know?
Why are you even in the same room as that? I don't understand what is happening.
The disrespect.
Like, you are a sheep herder.
Yeah, right.
What is going on? But, like, the way he talks about it, you're like, oh, okay. The chances that Tam wandered his way into this somehow going down.
Yeah.
The people with these blades, these master swordsmen, aren't just going around selling them all willy-nilly to people they meet on the street.
I mean, imagine a master of anything just selling their craft tools. Like, that would never happen. Like, your most prized possession as a master of your skill, and you're going to sell it?
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Like, you know what you would do? You'd put it away in a box under your bed and not take it out until Trollocs attack you.
I mean, you are not wrong. I would do that.
Yeah. I think most people do that. But, like, even, like, you hear stories about people who bad things have happened and they don't want to do the thing that they like to do, so they pack it away in the attic or stick it in a basement or put it in a box somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
So, I mean, that was my thought on that. Is also, I mean, it's a book, which helps because then I know that you're alluding to things that are going to happen in the future or knowledge that you might need for the future. Yeah. So like understanding.
Like, okay, check, got it.
Right.
Master swordsman.
Mark that away for later.
Like the rarity of the fact that he would ever have bought that is so slim that like it wouldn't even be bothered to be brought up if that were what he did.
Right. If
it just wouldn't be worth it.
If they were gonna do that, he would just have a cool sword.
Right. It would be some like foreign sword. It wouldn't be like a master sword.
Right. And people would be like, oh, that's so cool. I've
never seen that. Yeah.
Or
where'd you buy that?
I knew a guy that had one of those once.
Right. He was from such and such. Yeah. It was ancient or something.
It wouldn't be Lansing. They're like, that is a master swordsman situation.
Yeah. Like offended that Rand is holding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a whole setup there, obviously, for something that's going to happen at some point, probably a while from now. Or like a history lesson that we're going to get about some crazy situation. We'll probably like look back on the story that we just heard about the tree thing. The tree of life.
You're combining two very different things into one, but it certainly is possible.
Okay, listen. Rand has cool hair and sword.
Yeah.
From his dad, Tam.
Right.
Tam, who just had these fever dreams where he tells me about Lamon's war shit because the tree got cut down.
Yeah, but soldiers aren't master swordsmen. Soldiers are soldiers.
Master swordsmen can be soldiers.
They can be, but that's not very common.
How do I know?
Well,
what else are master swordsmen doing?
How many of them do you think are actually like soldiers, though?
Like swordsman shows? Like what are they doing?
A show, though, not a soldier. That's what I'm saying is that, like, I don't think those two would be, like, something I would lump together because a soldier versus a master swordsman, they don't really go hand in hand for me in my head.
I feel like a marksman.
Different than a soldier, but yes.
No, I'm saying a marksman. Yeah. Someone who's just very good at using a gun and making good shots.
Right.
More likely than not, if I came up to you and said, oh, yeah, they trained as a Marine, that would make sense to me. So if you put a master swordsman in front of me and said, oh, yeah, they got started as a swordsman because they were in the army.
I feel like I'm imagining a swordsman as someone more with, like, power versus, like, a soldier.
Okay, see, to me,
because like
swordsman,
royalty always train in swords. You know what I mean?
Which is true.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Also, just people that train with swords could work their way up to a master swordsman.
True. I just feel like those two situations are incredibly different. But I see what you're getting at. And it's a good read and find out kind of situation.
Fine, whatever. Shut up. No. If we hadn't had the weird fever dream war stuff in the last chapter, I don't know that I would have necessarily immediately made that connection.
Yeah.
But because we did, and now there's the sword, and it's a sword's, like...
Yeah.
It seems like it kind of flows together.
I get what you're saying.
They're little nuggets of knowledge that were being given very close together, and that seems like they have something to do with each other.
And we also got knowledge of Trollocs that's close together. That's combined with the war.
But you know what it does go with? The fact that, like, right after she saves Tam, she pretty much is like, oh, by the way, Trollocs were coming to kill you and your friends.
We haven't gotten to that part yet, but
of knowledge.
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
It's in this chapter.
We're working there.
Fine. Whatever.
She's just going willy-nilly, like, off the radar here. Anyway, no, so the next thing is about the tainted blade. So,
yes,
which is just awful. I mean, really, as if it's not bad enough that you've got this Frankenstein monster coming at you, but now the blade is poisonous, basically. Like,
yes.
Toxic blade.
I'm very worried about this toxic blade situation. Like, it's not even doing active poisoning. Like, he doesn't have to go and, like, dip it in poison every time he stabs someone.
It's just tainted like this.
Evil.
Like, evil blade.
First of all, we've instilled evilness in this inanimate object. Second of all,
cute.
I don't like the fact that, like, you can't just heal it if it's a tainted blade. Right. You need, like, the angry angel thing.
Right, the angry angel. Yeah. The angry owl. I love that. Sure. I love that. The nicknames that we're going to get for this book, like, for everything in the book, is just going to be great. So,
I like to name things.
Yeah. So, yeah, the fact that you do need that to be able to heal something like that is also very concerning.
Yeah. Like, that's a problem.
It's not so simple. It's not just a wound.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not about that. It's not okay. So then we go into Moraine, just kind of like...
Then she talks about,
By the way, we have to leave.
Yeah. By the way, you're going to leave, before anybody can find out where you're going because you were all the source of the attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she just drops that bombshell like she's hoping to, like, kill off a country.
Honestly.
Like,
God.
There was no attack. There was no leading. I get that.
Talk about bedside manner.
Yeah.
She's got a rough one.
I get that she's tired, but damn.
Yeah.
And then Rand reacts in the way I think anyone would react, immediately confused and angry, and then just rambling. Like, no, that's not how this works. I don't think you understand. What are you talking about? And Lan's like, dude, use your ears.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great and very Lan way of being.
Very Lan.
Being like, no, you're wrong. Stop.
And maybe if you shut up for a minute and listen.
Like, we could tell you why. And then she does explain it, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, obviously, they're coming for these specific kids. They've narrowed it down to these 3.
They've targeted those farms, those areas.
The fact that she's only been in town for like 3 days and she knows this much about everyone in the town worries me.
It's concerning,
Also, the fact that apparently Satan is interested in 3 17-year-old kids from the middle of fucking nowhere.
It's like, why? Are you doing this kind of raid everywhere? Like, how?
Like, this is very strange.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not okay. Mm-hmm. Very, very strange.
Yeah.
So that's leading into a whole separate situation. And then I like that Rand starts immediately trying to come up with a plan.
Right.
Oh, me and my friends are in danger. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Here's how I want to make this not be so scary for me.
Right. And Moran's sitting there like, no, like, I've got it. It's fine. But, like, I'm glad that you believe me and are on top of this situation.
Yeah, glad you're so gung-ho about this, but, like, I can handle it.
Right. It's not what I'm looking for, but I'm glad you're in. It's cool.
Right.
I do like that when Lan and Rand were talking, and Rand brought up the scary rider guy.
Yeah.
And then Lan is like, oh, it's a Mithandriel.
Murdrel.
Mithriond?
Mur. A mur.
Yeah, and he's talking about the mur and how scary it is.
Yep.
He talks about how he is also scared of it. And I think that for some people, especially people who weren't very confident in themselves and in their abilities and their skills and all of that, it would be tough to be like, yeah, I am actively afraid of this thing.
Right, to like discuss a serious fear.
Yeah, soldiers I thought about are also afraid of this thing. Like, you being scared is not wrong.
Right,
really just admits how good Lan is, both as a soldier and as a person. And it really is one of the few times we're getting a big insight into who he is as a person. Yeah,
it is a huge character moment. Like, you actually get to see more of just, like, instead of the hard structured, like, don't talk to her like that, Lan, you get to see, like, oh, he has emotions. Okay. Yeah. He's hot and he's got emotions. Cool.
Love it. I'm down for that.
We definitely love that.
I think we also in this chapter learn a lot about Rand, first and foremost, just because he would not give up on his dad.
Yeah.
He wasn't even going to be kicked out of the sick room. He's like, this is my dad. I am here.
Yeah.
And
he's like, this is where I stay.
Right, especially after everything that happened last chapter, where it's like he might not actually be his father.
Right.
He's like,
he's got all these unanswered questions and he's still so loyal.
Yeah. He's like, listen, no matter what it is that happened last time, no matter the words that he said or what they might mean.
That's my dad.
That's my dad. He's my person. I'm going to stay here. Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to fight for him.
Love it.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I also really enjoy that after hearing the story from Moraine, no matter how put together that story sounded or how much he believed it, he double checked it with the mayor.
Yeah.
He's like,
he needed a second opinion. Like, absolutely.
By the way, not to raise suspicion or anything, but tell me about these specific things that I have questions about.
Right.
Because I might have to secretly run away.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that's not
I heard a thing and I'm confirming it now.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
So tell me about this attack. I'm interested.
Like, goes ahead and, like, like Santa, like, checks his list twice,
Yep.
He's like, I heard it from you, but now I want to make sure.
Except for instead of presents, running away.
Runs. No, but I mean, it is really smart. It's like, and I feel like it attests to, like, first of all, He's sitting by his father's side. He won't leave his side. He's such a loyal and faithful son to the man who has raised him for so long. But I feel like he also raised him so well as to know, like, okay, I'm being told something, and I totally believe that it's a possibility, but I would like to double check my, all my facts. And I think that's like an attestment to like how you're raised as a person as well. Like, instead of just blindly believing someone. So,
or just immediately not believing them.
Right.
Like, you're telling me that
you're taking the information, you're digesting it, you're not turning away from it, and you're not fully believing in it. That's really how you should be. That's smart. The place to be.
You look at the situation first, you get more information, and then you determine your course of action or your opinion.
Yeah.
I think, that's a really smart way to do it. And the fact that Rand, even with everything going on, is able to sit there and look at the situation.
And think of it like that.
And really go into it like that. Yeah, I think that's really, really good. So
it does say a lot about his character. I mean, we're only 8 chapters in. And you've learned, like, in the beginning, he does kind of just seem like this, like, blob of, like, normalcy kind of thing. Yeah, and now you're like, oh, all right, you're tactical a little bit. Like,
you're smart.
Yeah.
And you're loyal. And
he's quick to come up with a plan.
Yep.
He's quick to get on his feet. He's quick to defend the people that he loves the most, which is really just Tam at this point. And he's also quick to double check something that he probably already believed to be true in the beginning. So... But you do learn so much about him.
Even when they stop, earlier when they stop at the cottage for Nynaeve to come out, he sees that Matt's house is burned down. He's immediately like, where's Matt? Is he okay?
Right.
Like
his genuine concern.
Right, for the people that really do mean something to him. Or when Moraine is talking about how the fact that it's him and Perrin and Matt, he's immediately like, I have to go find them.
Right.
And she's like, I've got this. Like, you're fine. Like, take care of your dad. Be here.
Yeah, like, stay put.
Yeah, that immediate need to, like, protect the people around him, I think, speaks really highly
of his character traits really are kind of shining through at this time.
And most of them are incredibly positive so far.
Yeah, they really are.
The boringness. I mean, that's less good. But
it's fair. I mean, he's also a shooter, so.
Right.
I mean, how interesting
he likes to read, though.
That's true. You're right.
That's cool. I like that. I enjoy reading.
All right, so that's the end of chapter 8.